All right, ready to dive into something we all know a little too well.
Oh, I know where this is going. Lay it on me.
Stress.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, right? And for this deep dive, we're going all the way to France.
Woo la la.
Exactly. We found this really cool public debate they had there, all about stress.
Interesting. I'm already curious to hear how they see it over there.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is how they view stress, like on a societal level, not just a personal problem.
That's a really different way of looking at it. Here it feels like we're all on our own, you know? Sink or swim.
I know, right? But it's so universal. I mean, think about those crazy deadlines at work.
Oh, tell me about it.
Or those disagreements with your family or friends.
Yeah, totally.
Or even those big life changes, like moving to a new city, changing careers.
Oh, huge triggers. But you know what's funny?
What's that?
Even good changes, like say you get that dream promotion.
Or you finally move into your dream house.
Exactly. Those can be stressful too.
Because it's still change.
Yeah. Yeah, big time. You gotta adjust, figure things out. That takes energy.
It totally does. Okay, so we've got the external stuff, but what about what's going on in our heads? Like that pressure to be perfect.
Ooh, perfectionism. That's a beast.
I know, right? So many of us deal with that.
And it's like a stress factory, churning away up there.
Non-stop.
Especially, if you're already struggling with low self-confidence.
Or you have trouble expressing your emotions.
It just compounds,
Yeah.
Like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Okay, so all this is making me think. It's easy to dismiss stress as just, oh, it's all in your head. But it turns out.
It does some real damage, right?
Yeah, physically. Like your heart.
Cardiovascular problems, for sure.
Your gut, too.
Oh, for real?
I know. Even like irritable bowel syndrome.
Wow, I didn't know stress could do that.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the mental side of things.
Right, like anxiety.
Depression.
Oh, yeah. If you're stressed out for a long time, it can really set the stage for those.
And have you heard of burnout?
Oh, burnout. That's like
An ultimate stress consequence.
you're just drained emotionally and physically.
Completely wiped out.
Like you hit a wall and there's nothing left.
It's scary stuff.
Yeah.
So we talked about the causes, the consequences. It's heavy, right? But the good news is.
There are things we can do about it.
Exactly. Solutions. And some are surprisingly simple. Like, have you ever tried meditation? Or mindfulness?
I have dabbled in meditation. It's amazing how much it can help with anxiety.
I know. Even a few minutes a day can make a difference.
There was this study, I think it was in JAMA Internal Medicine, they found mindfulness-based stress reduction really helped people with anxiety, like significantly.
So it's backed by science.
It is.
Okay, so mindfulness is on the table. But what about, getting physical? Exercise.
Well, that's a big one for me. Gets those endorphins pumping,
Totally. Those natural mood boosters.
If you need a fancy gym or anything, just go for a walk, even a quick one.
Even 10 minutes, right?
Totally. I like to walk in the park on my lunch break. Clears my head, helps me de-stress.
Love it. Okay, so we've got mindfulness exercise. Now let's talk about good old-fashioned time management.
Oh, time management. That's key. Why?
I know, right? Prioritizing your tasks, breaking down those big projects.
If you can get a handle on your schedule, it makes a huge difference for stress.
It's all about feeling in control.
Exactly. There's this thing called the Eisenhower Matrix. Have you heard of it?
No, tell me about it.
You basically categorize your to-do list by what's urgent, what's important.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, helps you focus on what really needs to get done and not get bogged down by the little stuff.
I like that.
Right.
Okay, so we've got time management down. But sometimes you just need to vent.
Right. Oh, 100%.
And that's where social support comes in. Just talking to someone, a friend, a family member, even a professional.
Sometimes just getting it off your chest can make a huge difference.
It's like a weight lifted.
And, you might be surprised by the advice or support your friends and family can offer. They often have a different perspective,
It's true. And if you're really struggling, don't be afraid to talk to a professional.
Exactly. There's no shame in getting help.
And, we touched on this earlier, but joining a support group, especially for specific stressors, that can be so helpful.
It's about the shared experience, right? You realize you're not alone.
Exactly. Okay, last but not least, we got to talk about work-life balance.
Ah, yes. This is a big one.
Setting boundaries, making time for stuff you actually enjoy.
Self-care. It's not selfish, it's essential. You have to take care of yourself.
I'm so glad you said that.
And one technique that's really helped me with that is the Pomodoro technique.
Pomodoro, like the tomato.
Yeah. You work for 25 minutes, then you take a short break. It's like built-in boundaries.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like what we're learning here is stress is complex.
No doubt. But
We don't have to let it win.
Exactly. And what's cool is that French debate we talked about, they really emphasize how important it is to talk about stress openly.
Like not keeping it bottled up.
Yeah. They're all about creating a culture where it's okay to talk about it and to ask for help when you need it.
That makes so much sense.
Right. And it reminded me of something else they talked about, which was workplace stress.
Oh, that's a big one.
Huge. They were saying how big of a factor workloads and deadlines are.
It's like a systemic problem.
It is. You know, when you think about it on that level, it makes you question our whole society. Like, what do we really value? Are we putting productivity over well-being?
That is such a good question. And it's not just about individuals,
Yeah.
right? Stress impacts families,
Communities.
even the economy as a whole.
Big time. And the solutions, they go way beyond just like individual coping mechanisms.
That's so true.
We need to address those bigger systems too.
Absolutely. Like creating healthier work environments,
Having flexible work arrangements.
giving people access to mental health resources.
Right. It's about creating a culture that supports well-being, not just productivity.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget about ourselves.
It really is. We get so focused on achieving, on doing.
But this whole conversation has been a good reminder that taking care of ourselves,
It's not a luxury.
it's essential.
It's the foundation for everything else.
It's about investing in our mental, emotional, and physical health.
So we can show up as our best selves.
Exactly. For ourselves and for others.
It really is like, realizing, hey, I have the power to choose how I respond to stress.
That's so true. It's not about letting it control us.
Exactly. And there's no one size fits all either, right?
Totally. What works for you might not work for me.
Exactly. It's about finding your own thing.
Building your own stress-busting toolkit.
I love that. Like, what are some things that work for you?
Well, I gotta say, exercise is huge EE for me.
Me too. It's
Yeah.
like not just physically, but mentally, it clears my head.
Right. Instant mood booster.
And you know what else I've been trying? Gratitude.
Oh, tell me about that.
Just taking a few minutes each day to be thankful for the good stuff.
Even the little things.
Yeah, it really helps. Shifts your perspective.
I love that. And, something we talked about earlier that's really important is asking for help.
Oh, for sure.
Whether it's a friend, family member, therapist, or even a support group.
It makes such a difference.
You don't have to go it alone.
Right. Build that support system around you.
And I think that ties back to something really interesting from that French debate, remember?
Oh, yeah. What was it?
They asked, if stress is so common, what does that say about our society?
Whoa. That's a deep one.
It makes you think, right?
Yeah.
About our values, what we prioritize.
Are we living in a way that actually supports our well-being?
Or are we just creating more stress?
It's a good challenge, like to look at our own lives, our work, even our communities.
And ask ourselves, what can we do differently?
How can we create a world where well-being comes first?
That's a big question.
It is. But, I think even small changes can help.
Totally. Like setting boundaries at work.
Making time for self-care.
Or even speaking up, advocating for policies that support people's well-being.
Every step counts.
What really struck me in that French debate was how much they emphasized community.
Oh, yeah. They were saying strong social connections can really protect you from stress.
It made me think about how we need to build communities that foster that.
Connection, a sense of belonging.
Because when people feel supported, they're more resilient.
So true.
It's not just about individual coping skills. It's about creating a culture that values well-being.
And maybe it starts with us just being more open, talking about our own struggles.
I think you're right. The more we share, the more we break down that stigma.
Exactly. We create more compassion and understanding.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay, hit me with it.
How can you prioritize your own well-being?
Yeah, good question.
And how can you contribute to a less stressful, more supportive world?
It starts with each of us, right?
Absolutely. We've talked about a lot of different solutions today, individual and collective,
And I hope you're feeling inspired, ready to take action.
because you do have the power to make choices that support your well-being.
And to create positive change in the world.
It's easy to forget about all this stuff when you're just, going through the motions.
Oh, totally. Life gets busy.
But this deep dive, I think it's been a good wake-up call. Taking care of ourselves, it's not a luxury. It's
Essential.
exactly. It's an investment in our mental, emotional, physical health.
So we can be our best selves. Right.
Right. For ourselves and the others.
It's not about being immune to stress,
Oh, no, definitely not.
It's about being resilient, bouncing back,
learning how to handle it.
And one thing I've learned over the years, it's an ongoing thing.
What do you mean?
Managing stress. It's not like you find one magic solution and you're done.
It's a journey.
Totally. You're always learning, adjusting, trying new things.
Makes sense. Life changes, you change.
Right. And there are so many tools out there to help us.
We've talked about a bunch, but those are just a few. Mindfulness, exercise, time management, social support, boundaries.
And there's more.
Like what?
I don't know, maybe journaling works for you?
Or spending time in nature.
Listening to music, yoga.
It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly. What helps you relax, recharge, feel good.
So as we wrap up, I want to remind everyone you're not alone in this.
Not at all.
Stress is a universal experience, and it's okay to ask for help.
Don't be afraid to reach out to a friend, family, therapist, support group.
Those shared experiences can be so powerful.
And remember, managing stress, it's not about making it disappear completely.
It's always going to be there to some degree.
Yeah, it's about riding the wave,
Learning to cope.
finding that inner peace, even when things are tough.
That's a great way to put it. Well, that's it for our deep dive into stress.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you learned some helpful stuff and that you're feeling inspired to take care of yourselves.
Because you deserve it.
Until next time, keep diving deep.